It's holy matrimony, love wrapped in grace, honesty the cornerstone, openness embrace, transparency the power to make it through, Christ in the center, making all things new. Welcome to the base camp.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Marriage Base Camp podcast. My name is Robert and I am here with...
Me, Shelly.
There you go. Hey, before we dive into our topic for this episode, I have a question for you. If you have been enjoying this podcast, would you mind supporting us? There are actually sponsorship levels for as little as $3 a month, and you may be wondering, how is $3 a month going to help you? Well, if you're the only one that does it, then it probably won't. So, but if 3,000 of you do it, then maybe we could just do this full time. Anyway, here's what we're willing to do. If that's something you are willing to do, we want to support you guys from supporting us, and you're going to receive free access to what we are calling our marriage alignment map. This is a free resource for you who support us. It's not available to everyone, only supporters of the podcast. And it's a new guided self-assessment that helps couples identify strengths, uncover pressure zones, and create a clear next step forward. And so instead of guessing where the tension is coming from, you'll see it mapped out right in front of you. Very practical exercise to strengthen your foundation together.
You can just click the support the show and the link in the show notes. And it's actually really cool. I've seen the assessment. So
yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to dive into this, but let me create the scenario that I think every married couple, I mean, obviously I don't have data for that, but surely every married couple understands that. So here's the scenario. You and your spouse, you start talking about something very small. Okay. It's nothing major. Maybe it's just a normal conversation. Maybe it's the schedules. Maybe it's kids. Maybe it's the money or something around the house. Like, hey, did you ever wash the towels? Right? Totally innocent question. But then something shifts. One comment lands the wrong way. A tone feels sharper than expected. Someone feels dismissed, maybe even misunderstood. And suddenly the conversation changes. You're no longer talking about towels, right? Like now, one person is defending themselves. The other person is reacting to that defense. And before you know it, the conversation had traveled from, did you wash the towels, to, you never appreciate anything I do. And I hate your mother, and all the things. At some point in that, you both kind of realize, hey, something's strange. Something's off. You're arguing, but you're not even real sure what you're arguing about anymore. Ever been there? You started talking about the towels, but now you're debating character, motives, possibly the entire history of your marriage.
goodness.
And when this happens, many couples think that the issue was the topic.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, we're never going to talk about towels again because look what that did. We're never going to bring up dishes or the budget or schedule again because it derailed everything and it went horribly. But the topic usually isn't the real problem at all. What's actually happening is something underneath the surface. And that thing underneath the surface is called the reactive cycle. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And then the reactive cycle, you tracking with that so far?
Yeah.
All right.
Got it.
The reactive cycle is described as the predictable pattern that couples fall into when trauma and unmet expectations trigger proactive responses. Sorry, I said proactive. I meant protective. So let me say that again. It's the predictive pattern that couples fall into when trauma and unmet expectations trigger protective responses. We see this cycle show up. And I know that you guys have experienced this, okay? And so at its core, the reactive cycle is not about the surface argument. It's about what's happening underneath the surface. So in honor of being honest, open, and transparent, right? In honor of being hot, let me tell you how This goes down typically for Shelly and I, because we've seen this come up a lot throughout our time together. So the reactive cycle begins, for example, when Robert, I don't know why I had to explain that.
That's me.
Yeah, I think you know who's speaking. Whenever I experience a perceived threat, okay, and that threat maybe I feel unloved or disrespected or unseen or unsafe, not valued, anything along those lines.
Yeah.
In a previous episode, we talked about emotional awareness and being able to name that feeling. Like that's what we're talking about. Like when I feel those perceived emotions, that's when the cycle starts. So instead of expressing, being vulnerable, feeling, directly, calling it what it is, I instead react defensively.
Yes.
And that reaction might show up as anger, criticism, withdrawal, sarcasm, control, shutting down, whatever.
Right.
My reaction in that moment causes Shelly to then feel threatened, right? And then she reacts to my reaction rather than responding to her underlying hurt. So she feels attacked or rejected, and then she responds with her own protective behavior. And very quickly, we as a couple, we are no longer addressing the original issue at all.
You have a hot mess.
We are no longer talking about towels, right? It's a long way from towels.
Right.
And so when she feels attacked and rejected, she responds. And then that cycle just starts to feed itself, going round and round in circles. We're just reacting to each other's reactions at that point. Now, don't miss this, okay? Each of us believe that we are responding to each other's behavior. But really all we're doing is we're just both reacting out of our own trauma and our own unmet expectations. Yeah. The original hurt, the original issue gets buried under all those layers of defensiveness.
Yeah. We would create it. We say like the crazy cycle, like somebody has to jump off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of wild. And the problem is not one spouse, the other. The problem is the cycle itself. And the goal in restoring hope is not to win the argument, but to identify a few things. So the trigger, like you said, what was the trigger that caused the defensiveness? The vulnerable emotion, like you said, beneath the reaction, and the protective behavior that follows. Once you identify those things, you can close the pattern down enough to respond with honesty and grace instead of defensiveness. So to recap, the reactive cycle is not the destructive, it's a destructive dance, I feel like, that couples fall into when pain is protected instead of revealed. So that's a good way to say it.
Yeah, and those things you mentioned are
those three things.
I mean, it's difficult to do is what we're going to show.
It is. Well, yeah, if you go back and listen to the last episode, we talked about, like you said, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Like this is definitely required.
Okay, so we're still using us as an example.
Right.
When my buttons are pushed, I react, and my reaction pushes your buttons.
Yes.
Which then causes you to react, which then pushes my buttons. You see how it's a cycle? And I know if you guys have been married for more than, say, 5 or 10 minutes,
yeah,
we know you guys have experienced this, because it's a cycle of suckery, right? Like the hardest part is just identifying your own buttons, your own triggers, and how you typically react. So we have made it easier for you to do just that.
Yes.
And so here's how you can find out your own reactive cycle. If you look in the show notes of this episode, you're going to see a link, and it's a link to a free reactive cycle assessment. Really, it's a link on our website, and just fill it out honestly. And when you do, it's going to show you what your top triggers are, what your top reactions are, and even what your top desires, like the things that you really do want. You're both going to do this, and then you're going to combine them all on the blank assessment sheet that's also on that page, and you're going to see mapped out right in front of you you as a couple, your reactive cycle. And when you see that, you're going to
It'll
be
blow
like,
your mind.
you're going to be, oh my gosh, like I knew these things were
Yeah.
happening, but now I see that
yeah.
when you do this, it makes me react this way. But when I react, it causes
When you
you
give
to
those
feel this way.
reactions names, like that's what you're doing, and you see it on paper, and then you see how you're triggering. It's like, oh my gosh. And then you start recognizing it. You're like, oh.
Yeah. And I'll say this, if you get in there and you're like, I don't know how to do that. We're always here to help.
Totally.
And so reach out to us, send us a question through our podcast at marriagebasecamp.com, email. And so we're here to help as much as we can.
So we want to kind of explain this as best we can without a video, like showing you an actual picture. So our reactive cycle would be, my buttons are to feel disconnected, ignored, rejected, misunderstood, and worthless. And so my core fear then becomes, I do not matter. I am not seen. I am alone in this. And my reactions then, I isolate, I shut down, judge, replay, and caretake. So in other words, I protect myself by withdrawing emotionally and like over functioning. And my wants and desires are connection, intimacy, understanding, love, and care. What I really want is closeness, safety, and reassurance. So.
And my buttons are when I feel misunderstood or ignored, invalidated, humiliated, even misportrayed, which sort of press on my core fears of being seen inaccurately, or I'm not respected, or I'm failing in some way. And when I feel that way, I then react, and my top reactions, I go to fact finding, defensiveness, I personalize things, I lecture, and even some arrogance comes out. So in other words, that's me trying to protect myself by clarifying, correcting, asserting competence, regaining that authority that I feel like is being overlooked or taken from me.
Right.
When the truth is my deepest wants and desires, or I want to feel competent and I want to feel like I have approval and appreciation and have partnership and those sorts of things. So really what I'm looking for is respect and admiration. And so that's how I'm triggered and how I react and what my desires are.
And each of you will have your different buttons and reactions, desires. After you take I promise, after you take the assessment, it'll really all make sense too. Like once you see it.
Yeah.
Then, cause like we're explaining it, but once you see it on paper, you're like, oh.
So let's get very specific here and give you a very specific example from our relationship. Here's how the reactive cycle may play out. Well, has played out often in our relationship. For example, Shelly might begin to feel disconnected. Okay, maybe because I'm being too logical too quickly, or I'm correcting minor details, or I'm trying to problem solve too quickly, whatever it is, she starts to feel disconnected. So she feels that as I'm not being emotionally met, which pushes her buttons of being misunderstood and disconnected. So that causes her to react. She withdraws. She goes quiet. She takes a step back emotionally. She begins to replay things internally. And when she's doing that, that's when I experience silence, coldness, emotional distance, which guess what? It pushes my buttons of being invalidated and ignored and misunderstood. And the cycle goes around and around and around.
Yeah, it really is a cycle of suckering because I protect against abandonment by withdrawing. Yeah. And it really is, for me, we've said it before, I think like I'm a turtle shell. Like I just kind of go in and protect myself against humiliation by, so again, I protect myself, I withdraw, but you protect against humiliation by asserting competence.
Yeah.
And then my withdrawal feels like rejection to you.
Yeah.
And you asserting yourself feels like control to me.
Yeah.
And neither of us are trying to hurt each other. We're actually just trying to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
So.
suckery is a great word. It's a cycle of suckery, because here's the irony of all of this. You want connection and intimacy, right?
Correct.
That's one of your deepest
yes.
desires.
Yes.
But you shutting down
Right.
creates distance.
Correct.
So your reaction is fighting against what you really want.
Correct.
Okay. I want approval and appreciation, but me going to lecturing and doing that sort of thing creates disapproval.
Mm-hmm.
So my reactions fight against what I really want.
Yes.
So both of our reactions end up keeping ourselves from experiencing what we truly desire.
Yeah.
It's like someone who's dying of thirst. They're dehydrated.
Yeah.
Drinking salt water.
That's why I said it's suckery.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is going to help my thirst, when
Right.
in the end it actually dehydrates you more.
Right.
So the very thing that you do is keeping you from the very thing that you want.
Isn't that like the
That'll preach.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
crazy.
things that I want to do, I don't do.
Yeah.
The things I don't want to do, I do.
Yes.
And it's not, it's all that. That's Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's this perfect storm of chaos, and it kind of, I don't know, Shelly, it kind of feels like a brilliant trap created by an enemy that only wants to destroy everything good about our marriage.
Yeah, I feel like this whole reactive cycle reveals the lies.
Yeah.
And shows it for what it is. And like, Satan's like, oh no, they know now.
They're on to me.
They're on to me. Dang it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah.
We are Satan. We are on.
That's right. Proverbs 25 says, the purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. So insight like this is a bucket that draws water from a deep well of your spouse's heart. It's very important to remember that feelings and actions are only information, not condemnation. Because because some people will feel like
when you
condemned.
map this out and
Yes.
you write these things on that piece of paper, you're gonna
be like, I suck.
Chances are you could feel condemned, like,
Right.
oh my goodness, look how horrible,
Right.
But what did you
They're
say?
not. Information invites growth, not condemnation. Like, let me say that feelings and actions are only information.
They're
not
information, not
information.
condemnation.
Yes, but that information also invites growth.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say. But when you're feeling condemnation, that invites shame.
Yeah.
So it's just information.
Yeah.
And I think looking at that information, you can see where your growth areas are, which is great, but don't feel condemned.
Yeah.
Because that's only from Satan. You're going to feel shame and condemned. Like, remember, that's a lie. So,
Yeah. These are things that you have done. This is
Correct.
not who you are.
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's, you guys want some good news?
Please. I'm just kidding.
Yes. I hear in the background. Here's the secret, right? The secret is that it's tempting to believe that in order for you guys to stop this reactive cycle, that both of you must come to a point where you must agree to stop reacting, that you need to have this aha moment where you both just absolutely open yourselves up, become emotionally aware and emotionally healthy.
At the same time.
At the same time, create this, impossible emotional intelligence perfectly, both of you identically, all the things.
Right.
The good news is that it only takes one of you to stop reacting,
That is good news.
to break the cycle.
Yeah.
It just takes one of you.
That's huge.
Because if one of you just hits pause, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. How do I stop this cycle? Then what you just did is you stopped your spouse from also
Right.
circling that cycle.
Because what happened, because I've noticed it before, now that we know kind of what's going on, when you start getting really defensive, I know immediately what's happened.
What do you mean by that? Defensive.
Like if you
I'm kidding.
start trying to,
That was a
I
joke.
know,
Yeah.
but I can tell, like, okay, he just got triggered. I must have said something. Let's rewind. Like, what just happened?
Yeah. So you're like, okay, time out.
Time
Like, whoa.
Right. And it was funny because one time we were involved like in I don't want to say a big argument, but like intense argument. And in the moment we both realized like, we're in the suckery of
He got us
Dang
again.
it.
Yeah.
I just triggered you and you triggered me. This is stupid. Okay.
So, so you may be wondering, well, how do we jump off the cycle? Robert and Shelly, please tell us.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this much. We'll tell you this much. This is one of those things that's classified as simple, not easy.
It is not easy.
Like
It takes humility too.
It's simple to understand, and it is so very difficult to do. So
Yes.
we don't want to be like, oh, here's the easy process. Go do it. It's hard. It's hard, y'all.
It is.
Because like you said, it takes a lot of growth and everything. But here it is. Nonetheless, 3 steps. Number 1, you got to name the button. You got to name the trigger. You got to call it for what it is, okay? And then number 2, you got to own that reaction. And then number 3, you have to reveal the deeper desire. And so let me explain.
Those are difficult.
Yeah. Simple, but yet so very difficult, not easy. So the best way to practice this, I would say, is just to create this little mental script that you say. Sometimes it's not mental, sometimes it's verbal even, that you say to yourself and to your spouse in those moments. And so it might look something like this. This is an example for me. When I start to feel misunderstood, invalidated, humiliated, any of those things, say, okay, right now I'm feeling misunderstood. So what I'm feeling right now is I'm misunderstood. So that's me naming that button.
Right.
It's naming that trigger. It's naming that thing that is pressing up against my core fear. I'm feeling misunderstood, right? I just named it. That's step 1.
Yeah.
Step 2 is me saying, I can feel myself getting defensive right now, and I don't want to lecture you just to prove my point. Yeah. So what I'm doing in that step is I'm owning what that typical reaction would have been. So normally when I feel misunderstood, I'm going to overanalyze this thing and explain it to death just to prove you that what you said was wrong, or you said it the wrong way, or whatever it was. Right. Step 2 is me saying, I can feel myself going that way, and I don't want to lecture and react the way I typically would. Step 3 would be you saying, what I really want is to feel respected and to feel like we're partners, right? Like that's revealing my deeper desire. That's revealing what I really want to happen in this moment. So if you put all that together, and you can say it all in one go if you want to, it might sound like this. Hey, I'm feeling really misunderstood right now, and I'm starting to get a little defensive. And I don't want to start lecturing to prove my point, because what I really want is I want to feel respected and that we're on the same team, right? I named my button, my trigger. I owned my typical reaction, and I revealed my true desire. Yeah. And I just jumped off that cycle, which, like I said, it's simple. It's not easy.
It is not easy.
But if I can do that, then I just kept you from reacting to my reaction. So now we're not going down that downward spiral. We're seeing things clearly. We can talk about whatever it is we need to talk about.
I just think, holy cow, how this would heal marriages.
Yeah.
Just learning this and practicing it, and it will save.
Yeah, I'm glad we found this out in year 28 of our marriage. That's awesome. 27 years of missed opportunities.
We knew we were doing this, and then we were like, had it all on paper, and we were like, oh, once you saw it, it was like, dang.
Yeah.
You really, yeah. So here's the crazy part. That reaction cycle happens faster than you think it does. Most couples believe that conflict, and I think we believe this too, begins when voices raise or names start flying, but that's actually not true. Conflict actually happens in milliseconds after your buttons are pushed, because we've all convinced ourselves, or the enemy has tried to convince us, that our story is maybe, see, I don't matter. I never will be good enough. Or, I should have married the other person. Like, you start believing these lies, and
you start believing those core fears are true.
Right. Yeah. And the enemy's just like, see.
Yeah.
So don't be confused. The goal is not to live life with no triggers. The goal is to know your triggers. Like emotional maturity is the ability to name your buttons. Like that's all goes back to emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Along those lines, I think couples often also think that conflict in their marriage is when things get very chaotic.
Yeah.
Like you said, when names start flying, almost like that wartime communication, when it's like the battle's going on and bombs are going off everywhere around you, and you're like trying to call in coordinates for a strike, and it's just like boom, 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 all this stuff going on.
You're not even listening to that person at this point.
Yeah, they think, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's conflict, right? Those
Yeah.
crazy, loud, just fog of war, chaotic moments.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it actually starts long before that. And if you back up and you look at it, chaos actually has a pattern to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you map it out, like using this reactive cycle, it actually starts to become very visible and even predictable.
Yeah, it does.
Because here's why the conflict often feels like it's in those crazy wartime chaotic moments. It's because our brains in those moments are just working overtime.
They are.
Right? You got your amygdala firing, you got your prefrontal cortex firing, and all these things going on at different times. And so when those defensive systems activate, things start happening in our bodies and our brains that we can't even control.
Yes.
Much less control very well. And so our heart rate increases. We didn't want it to. It just did, right? Like empathy becomes harder in those moments because empathy is not something you need to stay alive in that fight or flight moment.
Right.
Right? You need speed, or you need, protection or whatever. Our attention starts to narrow, so it actually becomes harder to think clearly. And I would add this, sometimes our attention is heightened in certain situations, like battle or, like for law enforcement officers that are being shot at or something like that. Like attention heightens, but it's usually at the expense of something else. Meaning like if someone got shot, a soldier or an officer or something like that, like sometimes they remember they remember getting shot in slow motion.
Yeah.
But yet they go back and they're like, but I don't remember hearing a gunshot ever.
Yeah.
Like certain senses are sort of cut off.
Right.
Because, well, we don't need
You're in
that.
survival mode.
Yeah, I don't need that one. I need these, right? And so it's kind of a weird thing when we feel like we're in those chaotic moments. It's difficult to respond and react the way we'd want to. That's why we suggest, if you find yourself in one of these moments, or you find yourself getting there very quickly, right? Like you're flooding, right? Like you're starting to feel your heartbeat in your neck and all this stuff. Take a pause, take a time out. Allow those defensive systems that are so crucial to keep you from spiraling out of control. Give yourself some time to regulate, okay? Because during that pause, during that timeout, it's also a really great time to remind yourself of what you know to be true about you and your spouse. If I hit pause, it's a really great time for me to be like, you know what? She does not hate me. Like I'm kind of going there. I'm kind of feeling like she hates me. She doesn't hate me. Like she married me.
Right.
Like she adopted my name. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't hate me. She's not weak.
Mm-hmm.
This woman pushed out multiple humans out of her without pain meds. She's not weak.
No.
She's not out to hurt me. Like she is for me. Like she has seen me naked and hasn't laughed at me. Right? Like she is for me. She's on my side. She's on my team. Like it's in those pause moments that you can remind yourself of what is true, even though there are seemingly things that are trying to convince you otherwise.
Yeah.
And so, it's really important to hit those pauses.
I love that because I do that often. Like he is for me. He loves me. Like just repeat it. Because I think, like we said earlier, like Satan tries to whisper those lies to you. Like, see, you aren't enough. See?
Yeah.
And if you need to come, like, to stop and pause, be like, no, I am loved by God. He does love me. We are on the same team.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Isn't it
that's
crazy
great.
how you can believe lies? Like, he hasn't really loved you for the last 28 years. Like, what? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like this is so crazy,
Our
but
brain and is crazy, and Satan's
yeah.
doesn't make things easy. So, okay, so we typically give you guys a summit challenge. So here's your challenge: make your own reactive cycle. Like we said, you can go on the show notes,
Show
the
notes,
click,
yeah.
yeah. With this, okay. Remember, you're not trying to fix your marriage. Okay, you're simply trying to understand your pattern. Strong marriages are not those without triggers. They are those who can name them
Yeah.
and pause. And like you were saying,
This
that's huge.
this isn't gonna fix your marriage any more than an X-ray is gonna fix your broken foot.
Right. Like you can see, oh yeah, that's what we do. But if you don't do anything about it,
Right.
like, yeah. Your challenge is to complete your own reactive cycle inventory and then kind of just see what happens when it unfolds. But let's see. What's step 1? Oh, to fill out the inventory.
Yeah, fill out the inventory.
Each spouse, okay, you need to complete it on your own. Don't like look at each other's answers. Like just try to take some time by yourself, do it on your own. It's in the show notes. And once you're done, like it's pretty self-explanatory. I feel like it's a great setup how you've done it. But after each section, you'll do like your top 5 buttons, your top 5 reactions, your top 5 wants and desires, and really be 100% honest, because that's the only way you're really gonna.
Nobody's gonna see this except you.
Right.
I mean, I guess your spouse.
Right. That's what I'm saying about the YouTube.
And so don't think, it's just going into some national database of response. No, it's not at all.
It's going to be really helpful, but it's only going to be really helpful if you're 100% honest.
Yeah.
So step 2, here's the more difficult: share without defending. So set a 30-minute timer. Have one spouse share what their reactive cycle is. Like, here's my 5 reactions, like my feelings. And don't try to start ask questions. Like, just listen.
Don't go into fix it mode.
Yeah, just listen. Don't get defensive. Either one of you, just listen. And then you're going to switch. Not trying to get defensive and, well, here's what you do. And I can see that. Like, just listen.
Yeah.
Just listen.
Here's why I did it. I never
just listen.
Got a hug.
Share without defending. So
yeah. And if you need help, again, reach out and we will help you guys navigate through this. Just a reminder, every button that you discover about yourself represents some kind of fear. And that fear is likely tied to a trauma response.
Yes.
That you may not even be aware of. Every reaction represents some way that you try to protect yourself. Typically, it's how you survived the trauma that you went through.
Yes.
And every desire and want that you have represents something deeply good, usually how God wired you up to be.
Yes.
And so don't be alarmed simply because you are triggered.
Right.
Of course you are triggered. Like, the problem is not that you have triggers. The problem is when those triggers stay unnamed and undealt with and untreated. Yeah. Because when we react, in other words, when we try to protect without being vulnerable, it just creates distance between us. Mm-hmm. And distance feeds the very fear that we were trying to avoid in the first place. That is the cycle. That's the reactive cycle. That's the cycle of suckery. And the goal, like Shelly stated earlier, is not to eliminate conflict. That's impossible. How are you going to eliminate conflict?
You're going to hurt each other's feelings. Like, things are going to happen.
Right. The goal is not that. The goal is to interrupt the pattern. It's to interrupt that cycle. Because when you can say things like, hey, I'm feeling misunderstood, instead of you reacting to prove your point, that's connection.
Yeah.
When you can say things like, hey, I'm starting to feel disconnected from one another, instead of just withdrawing and ruminating about it, you are breaking the cycle in that moment. And so when both spouses begin to name their buttons before they react, then the marriage begins to feel safer. That is us reaching the summit in our relationship.
Yes, and amen. Hey guys, thanks for listening. If this episode resonated with you, one, take the Summit Challenge, fill out your own reactive cycle inventory, and then map your pattern. And remember, strong marriages, like Robert said, don't avoid tension. They learn how to navigate it together, which is huge.
That's right. Well, thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Marriage Base Camp Podcast. See you.
Welcome to the Base Camp. From Genesis to Revelation, His love is the guide. Every vow, every moment, we lay down our pride. His mercy's the melody, our heart's the refrain. Through sunshine and shadow, our love will remain. This holy matrimony, love wrapped in grace. Honesty the cornerstone, openness embrace. Transparency's the power to make it through. Christ in the center, making all things new.